Hey guys, welcome back to Ranger Survival and Fieldcraft. Amanda, what I have for you today is my go bag. Stand by. All right, guys, so I've got my go bag here, and I've had to change up some of the items because I live in a different area now. I live in a rural area, and I have to travel to the city and urban environment for work, and it's going to be about 40 or 50 miles one way. So that's a lot of driving, it's a lot of movement, and that's just the life I live at the moment. But I needed to change up my go bag so I can grab this if I have to ditch my car, and it's going to provide for my most basic needs. But the worst case scenario that I'm going with is having to make that on foot movement for 40 or 50 miles. So I want a lightweight kit as well. Moving at an airborne shuffle pace, 15-minute mile or so. That 40 or 50 miles could put us anywhere from 12 and a half hours to 24 hours, depending on terrain, linear danger areas, maybe have to circumvent obstacles, or stopping to get resources, stopping for a hide site to hole up for the night, get some sleep, get some rest, rehydrate, get some food, and then continue movement. So something that's lightweight that can handle a situation like that, because my goal would be to get right back to the house, and I'm just going to continue pushing on foot. I'm not going to stop unless I can find some sort of other means of travel that are safe and I can move on roads and I'm not worried about getting rolled up or whatever. So this is just going to be that one-way ticket bug out bag or go bag. And so I've got my bag set up. I'm going to show you some of the items. There are different items in here as opposed to previous videos, just because of the situation that I live in right now. So let me open this up. I'll show you guys the items and why I have them packed the way I do. I really like this 511 Covert backpack because it has some special compartments in it, but this backpack, the color itself, we can actually use to move in an urban area as well as a rural area. We can pull down vegetation and actually shove it through. These little straps are all over this backpack to give it a little bit more camouflage. The black and gray are subdued colors. It can help blend into the environment, especially if we use that micro terrain like I was talking about, or stay in thick vegetation and only move in open areas at nighttime or when it's safe. But we can use this in an urban as well as a rural setting. Plus, this bag really doesn't give off that much of a threat detection to other people. It doesn't signal that we're maybe a threat, or that we have a certain amount of training, or that we may have resources on us or defensive weapons that somebody else could potentially grab. This signals just kind of a book bag type of bag to carry with us, something that's normal and everyday, kind of a gray man approach. Things for a go bag that we want to grab routinely should probably be at the top of our go bag in these smaller pouches. Things that we're going to need to go to for emergency items. Things that are larger can go in the main compartment that we may not have to use, like a raincoat. If it's not raining, it's actually raining right now, we wouldn't have to grab it right away, so we can put it in the large compartment. But these smaller pockets we're going to go to for more routine items. And the first one is just right up top here, this little guy. And this actually has our land navigation kit in it. So that fell out is just a monocular. The reason we would have this is so we can scan the area and actually look across distance. I live in a rural area and the corn is down now. There is minimum vegetation. The leaves are starting to drop, and so you can see for a long ways. You're also going to have micro terrain, which is just small little hills and different low-lying areas where you can actually hide really well, climb up to that military crest, use this to scan the area to make sure it's clear before you start moving into that open area. So a monocular like this, or binoculars, is going to be one of the most important tools for maybe an urban to rural escape and evasion scenario, or just a bug out. This thing is going to be worth its weight in gold to scan the area and make sure it's safe before you cross an open danger area. You can also take this and scan for resources, or you can look maybe at homesteads or houses to see if the lights are turned on, and then plan your movement based off your assessment. Next, got a way to see in the dark, headlamp. Obviously this will have a strobe setting, but we want something to be able to see at night. I would recommend, in most evasion scenarios, call for movement at night, so we can use the red lens on this to check our map and compass and then continue movement. But we want to turn this off where we're not using it unless we have to cross some sort of obstacle to see clearly, or if we're in low-lying terrain or thick vegetation. That red lens isn't going to go as far as a white light, but we can use this to help see our way or even to potentially signal. Next, GPS. You can plan your route in here. And then, if you get rolled up, military style, just break this or pull out the batteries or destroy the SIM card, whatever it is. But you can use this, obviously, to check where you're at in combination with map. We have a waterproof map right here. This is made of Tyvek. So waterproof map, always waterproof your map. If it gets wet, it's not going to be any good. It's going to disintegrate, and then you're just going to have to go based off memory. And then a compass, so we can get that right bearing and travel in the right direction. Use this as a backup or a confirmation check with your map. 2 is 1, 1 is none, and you want to have as many land navigation items as possible, especially traveling over a very long distance like 40 or 50 miles. You want to make sure you're going in the right direction. And then you can plan routes at the same time. So we've got our land navigation kit, then our visual kit, being able to see in the dark, and then seeing for long distance. That's all that's in there. One other thing that's also at the top that we're probably going to want routinely, or just to have easy access to and not have to dig around for, is going to be emergency rations, and there's a lot of different zippers on here. But right here, I just have those SOS bars. Each one of these bars is about 400 calories. So we've got 4 bars, 1,600 calories or so right there. These we can eat fairly quickly, drink water, consume these, and continue movement without having to worry too much. Plus, we can always move back to urban areas or even change this bag, change our clothing with the kit I have inside here to look like we're just hanging around an urban center. In case we come across a gas station, we have currency on us. We can buy food and water if the situation is safe, but we have this, a lot of calories. Obviously covering 40 or 50 miles is going to be a long trek, so we need a lot of calories. 1,600 is not quite enough, but it's something to get energy in our system. So we have food up top, and we don't have a lot in that pouch. If we have other snacks and things we find along the way, we can shove it in there. Now let's go to this outside pouch. One of the things we have right up top that may or may not be a good item is just face paint. We can use the mirror inside here as a signal, but we can use the face paint to camo up a little bit, help conceal ourselves if we're trying to avoid pursuers for whatever reason. But having a little face paint gives us a signal as well as a way to avoid detection at the same time. Old habits die hard. All right, so let's go to this pouch that's on the outside. And I have this set up kind of like a rack. Like if I had a gun rack or a flick or a plate carrier on, I could wear this on my front, and it's almost like I'm wearing kind of a improvised flick or load-bearing equipment or plate carrier, because I've got kind of my blowout kit right here. We've got a tourniquet, we've got combat gauze, and then underneath that we have an Israeli dressing. Just a simple blowout kit along with combat shears right here to strip away that clothing, identify the point of injury, clean it out as best as possible, pack gauze in there, Israeli bandage over top, or immediately go to that tourniquet to stop the bleeding and then treat with the gauze and the Israeli dressing. But we also have on one side an extra magazine of pistol ammo, and then on the other side we've got our multi-tool we can use for fieldcraft, bushcraft, escape and evasion, all that kind of stuff. Get resources, but it's set up kind of like a mini flick. And so we've got that kit right here, and we can put this back up, and it's fairly unassuming, and people don't really know that it's right there on top. One thing that I'll show you really quick is that with this backpack on the back side, we can actually open this up, and we can put a water bladder here or one of our SAPI plates and slide that right in and zip it up. Of course, we add weight to the pack now, but now right here we can wear this on our front as potential protection from either fragmentation or bullets. And this would give us some sort of protection. We can wear it on our back as we're running away, trying to get away from danger, or just slip this backpack on our front. We have basically an improvisational plate carrier, at least to the front, to give us some protection. We don't have to do that, but that's just a technique. Take my SAPI back. All right, that next pocket is down here, and it's kind of a hidden pocket on these bags, which is really nice. And what I like about this is that it opens up from the other side as well. So I can unzip this side and actually get my hand all the way through, so I can reach in from either side. And now what I have in here is gonna be my pistol and then my combat knife. This is all for defense as well as survival. And with this, I have something special here where I can pull the pistol out, use it, and then put it back in its holster, and it'll stay in place. And how I do that is by you guessed it, hook pile tape, more commonly known as Velcro, but in the airborne, this is hook pile tape. So this is the hook part, and the pile tape is actually already in there, right, the fluffy side. And we can take this out now. I can leave this in the bag, draw it, and engage, or I can take this out and then put it in the concealed carry, maybe appendix carry, or on the side or the rear, and then carry this and continue to move out. And I've got the extra ammo just in that front pouch in that mini improvisational flick or plate carrier setup. Well, we have our defensive weapon that's concealed and can go right in there, and you can see it fits both sides. And then at the same time, right above that is the combat knife with the same capability. It's got Velcro on it, hook pile tape. You can pull out this knife, use it for whatever, quick defensive slashes or to fight back. Or we could just pull this out. It's got the Velcro on the back, and now we can just take this with the belt clip, put it on our belt. Once we get to that rural area and we have easy access to it for survival, if we get game, we can butcher game with it. Or if we have to move back to an urban setting, we can just take this, put it right back in here, conceal it, and then nobody is the wiser unless somebody tries to check all our stuff. A quick technique here. I have one side of that zippered pocket with the tab out. So I can grab it really quick to my dominant side as I take the backpack off. One technique we can do, the other side, is that I'll tuck that tab in to the zipper and then I'll pull down on the zipper. So I may not be able to get to it very easily, but neither can anyone else, and you can only get to it easily from one side. That'll help prevent people from grabbing those zippers and trying to pull them up, and it kind of looks good. Plus, it'll help conceal that pocket or that pouch just a little bit more with this laying over top, and there's no tab that's hanging out. Somebody may miss that, if we get searched, that is. So a good technique there. So we've got our front rack here with all our gear to fight. We've got defensive weapons and tools. Talk the front and the top. Now we can go into the large compartment. And this is going to be for more sustaining items, those things we need for longer term survival as we cover that distance. I'll just crack this bad boy open. You can see it. First thing right on top is a sandbag. Now a sandbag, they can be found around construction sites, or you can grab a trash bag or maybe a plastic bag from the store. But the reason I grab a sandbag is because it's an extra pouch or an extra way to carry things. If we have to grab things very quick, we come up to an urban setting and the apocalypse has happened and everybody's running around or things have been abandoned, and we have just minutes or seconds to go in, grab what we need, and get out. We can pull this out of our bag, open it up, have everything ready to go. This can be tucked under one of the straps as we're wearing our bag, so it's just ready to pull out and go. And we can open this up, shove it full of food, drinks, medical supplies, whatever we need if we're just gonna run and gun and grab this thing really quick and then get off the X again. Situation dependent, obviously. But we can take this, grab everything we need, and just haul butt off that area, off the X, away from that situation. And now we've got our supplies. We can move, find a spot to hide for a few minutes, repack, reorganize, refit, hydrate, get some of that food, apply medical aid devices if we need to, treat injuries, and then continue movement along our evasion plan of action. So having an extra bag like this is going to be super important. Next, basic items. You've got your Snooki or your skull cap, and then some gloves. Stay warm, help protect yourselves. Notice the camouflage and subdued colors. Mechanics gloves are all over the place, and so we can take these off, but keep this on if we have to go back to an urban setting. Plus, I usually always wear a baseball cap or some sort of cap anyway, so we can use that to help change our disguise or change our appearance if people are looking for us, and to help us blend in or at least, stay undetected for as long as possible. So extra clothes, especially for the hands and head, something to help keep us warm, protect us, especially the hands, but also change our appearance and hopefully remain undetected gray man effect in an urban or even rural setting to avoid detection. All right, next, just another defensive tool, bear mace or mace like this, which I'll stop pointing at myself, I guess. Don't worry, the safety's on. But we can use this in a large crowd to spray, affect everybody. We're gonna get a whiff of it too, but we can use this spray, pray, and then get off the X. Use this as crowd control or in a larger group setting if multiple people are pursuing, or in an immediate reaction or immediate actions taken in the event we have to ditch our vehicle and it's violent and there's a lot of people. We can use this to spray, take them out really quick, and then just get away from that area and attempt to run as fast as possible. But defensive weapon right here. On this side, we've got the Grail, or that water filter, that GeoPress. This thing is gonna be good for 55 gallons of press, so every press is about 24 ounces. So we've got a lot of water right here. We can use this to gather up water, press it, treat that water, drink it immediately within about 15 seconds. But this is what we want. We're not gonna be starting fires out there. We're not gonna be boiling over water. We want something to grab and go. And then along with this GeoPress with that filter, one thing that I wanna carry is some sort of water bag, similar to that sandbag we have as an extra bag to gather items quickly and get off the X. We have just a Camelback, about 80 ounces we can use with that GeoPress, fill up that water, dump it in here, and continue to pack it. That way we have water we're traveling with. So if we get to another water point and we can't stop to fill up or treat that water to make it safe with our Grail or our GeoPress or whatever filter we have, we can just travel with this and then use our GeoPress or our filter at another water location. And we should have water locations known on our map. We should know when we're coming to those and when is a good time to fill up and when is not a good time to fill up. Part of evasion plans of action are going to be moving from resource to resource, where we know there's going to be game, where we know there's going to be water or protection or areas with resources to start fires or to places where signals can be put out. So water is going to be one of those huge things that we have to plan for in an evasion or a bug out scenario or whatever, because it's the number one resource. And especially moving over 40 or 50 miles in one trip, we're going to need a lot of water. So some sort of collapsible water container that we can use to fill up with our Grail and have water on the move. Speaking of water, we got a rain jacket. This rain jacket is large enough to cover me as well as this bag. So I can put my bag underneath this with the rain jacket on. It's a tan color, subdued, but this will also be nice. It's a North Face jacket, so in an urban setting, it'll blend in just as well. So something that's gonna work just as well in an urban environment as it does a rural setting to help protect, keep warm and dry and safe. It's winter out right now, so we don't wanna go down for hypothermia. So we also have our Wooby hoodie. This thing, we can reverse it. So we have camo is part of the jacket on the outside, BDU camo, that battle dress uniform camo or woodland pattern. But we can reverse this too, and it's just completely tan. And people wear tan jackets all the time in an urban setting, and we can wear this in a rural setting as well. If you look outside at the farm right now, it's gonna be nothing but corn out there, and so having a tan jacket will help us blend into that environment as well. So we got this to stay warm, prevent hypothermia, and then something dry on top of our Wooby hoodie, our rain jacket, to help trap our body heat, keep us warm as a moving shelter. Of course, we can take this off, put it back in the bag if we're starting to sweat, but at nighttime, it's gonna get cold. It's gonna get down in the teens, I think, this weekend. So we want something that's gonna keep us warm with additional clothing so we can continue movement, maintain our body temperature at a relatively high level, and then stay warm but not sweat or over sweat to where now that low temperature is putting us in a chance of going hypothermic. But just basic clothing to help protect us while we're moving, but giving us good shelter items as well, or protection items as well. Another thing I threw in here was just a sniper veil. Sniper veils are good because we can use this as a scarf, but we can also use it to drape over our backpack to provide additional camouflage if we want to, if we're in that rural area or we're down in thick vegetation, to help cover up some of this black. You can obviously see large black patterns in the wilderness. They're not uncommon, but we want to cover this up just a little bit to help subdue it even more. So something to keep warm. We can also use this to gather different materials, resources, or even as an improvised tourniquet right there. So a very useful item, additional clothing, protection, and survival. And then one other thing I would carry is some sort of charging bank for the cell phone or whatever gear we have. If we have a rechargeable headlamp, for whatever reason, I would recommend carrying batteries and just a headlamp or flashlight that carries batteries, as opposed to one that relies on charger, because this thing could go out or break or take a spill or get wet and then it's ruined if we have one of those. But we want a solar charger or a power bank that we can use to charge our phone or our signaling devices and stay on the net. And lastly, because of that urban scenario, moving away from it and going to a rural scenario, we're going to want to have some sort of emergency survival kit. Now, this is a basic kit. This is modeled after something that we had to carry in SEER school. All our little teams or whatever, one of us in the team had to carry some sort of emergency survival kit that was locked up. It had a GPS, it had flares and all kinds of crazy stuff in it. But we couldn't use it unless it was an actual life-threatening scenario. But wanted to have something like this for that rural setting to give us a shot at surviving if we're out there for multiple days for whatever reason. There are a lot of linear danger areas between me and where I work and then back. And so if I have to constantly cross linear danger areas, those are going to be patrolled for whatever reason in an apocalypse scenario or whatever. Just go with me on that. But we want to have something where we can actually attempt to get food off the land, maybe put up a shelter, get a fire started, treat water to make it safe to drink. And so we just need those basic items. And so that's what we have right here. Hold that up so you guys can see that. Obviously see a lot of those items inside. When we crack this open, we've got about 25 feet of paracord for putting up a shelter, snare wire. If we're in an area for a long time, there are a lot of rabbits out here, so we could attempt to snare some rabbits or small game and provide ourselves a meal. Of course, there are still crops up as well, so we could potentially go after those, or maybe somebody's backyard garden. There might be stuff still hanging up, you never know, or you may come across maybe a rundown gas station. You grab your sandbag really quick, grab what you can, and then get out of there. We got some fire starting devices, matches in our match safe. I think this, has tinder right on top, just a cotton ball. Matches, one way to do it. We've got the little ferro on top or on bottom, and then the striker on top. And then a lighter. We should already have one of these in our pocket anyway, but just extra ways to start fire. Iodine tablets for treating water. We've got that little water bag right here. We could do with, the quart-sized bag we carry our rations in as well. Fill this with water. 2 tabs for 1 quart or 1 liter, and we can treat that water in here as well. So hang on to your bags, but we have a drink bag right there. Commando saw, taking down material for a fire if we have to get a large fire going for whatever reason, or just to process shelter material and put something up relatively quickly to get out of the elements and stay warm. We've got fishing kit with hooks, lures, line, all kinds of good stuff. And then lastly, just a camouflage Mylar blanket, just an added shelter item. This is just a standard size Mylar blanket. We can use this combined with our saw and natural materials and paracord to set up a decent shelter, at least for a night, to stay warm and dry and as comfortable as possible. So there's that survival kit right there. And there's our emergency survival kit. We could probably wrap maybe zip ties or something around here to prevent this from breaking open as we're running through the woods or whatever, but a decent survival kit, waterproof, tough container. And that is the bag. All right, guys, so we got the whole kit laid out here. We've got everything from land navigation to protection and defense to survival, as well as protection or covering items, things to protect ourselves and medical aid, and then even signaling with keeping our electronics charged. So this is my updated bug out bag, or my go bag from the vehicle if I gotta get off the X and make my way back home. I really hope you liked this video. Another down and dirty video today. If you did like this video, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, leave me a comment in the comment section. I always appreciate your feedback. I want to thank you guys for everything you do for me, for this channel, for your likes, your views, your subscriptions, your comments, your feedback, and your shares. And I'll be back with another video as soon as I can, guys. Thanks.